Hello, gentle viewers. This is Guardian, welcoming you back to Out of the Park Baseball 26 with the Chicago White Sox. Thank you very much to Insight World 422, who had a couple of comments. He clarified that it was Bill Santiago that he thought could become a first baseman. I ended up trading him, but let's see how he's doing. We can visit in with him. Oh, looks like he's playing for the Red Sox, and yeah, he said he might be able to become a first baseman. I still think we made the right decision. I think Dingman has been pretty helpful for us, and I think Gerling still has some pretty high upside for us, so won't miss him too terribly much. And then he also pointed out he thinks one of our new draftees, Blankstein, might be more of an outfielder. You know what? Probably right. I gotta remember who Blankstein is, though. I've gotta remember who they are. There can't be that many of them, right? It's Bobby Blankstein. And yeah. You can put pretty much anybody at first base. It's not difficult. He's also 19, so there's always a chance that as he gets older, he'll develop new skills, and we'll be in pretty good shape when that happens. It's also important to remember we do have a DH. It's the luxury of living in the 2020s because the 2030s, where that's how baseball works. So yeah. We need to find a new bench coach. And we want somebody that is either personable or controlling. And so the person we're talking about last is actually Nicky Delmonico. He is controlling, and he does have a ton of upside. I think he's the play. I think Mr. Delmonico is going to go right to being our bench coach. Does that mean that Cameron Seitzer could be promoted? Honestly, probably not. Lardell Allen is far better than he is, so I think we promote him instead. And then Dane Bubala or Julio Bruno. Mr. Bubala here is the right choice. And we'll find ourselves a new hitting coach for rookie ball. Delete filter, please. I want the best possible hitting coach. Somebody who's great at mechanics. Hey there, buddy. Charlie Carter. How about you join us, please? Next up of our off season is we need to go and set up our player development lab. Lots of players have tons of upside still. Adam Wilson is going to be the first one I'm going to get some control going on. I think if Adam Wilson can develop even just a little bit, I think he'll be a huge part of our team. Herb Berry, I don't know what to have him do, but it's got to be something, so I think I'll have him do plate discipline. But it's like, he could be amazing. Like, I'm really excited about him as a draft pick because he's so good at every position. There's a lot to like about him. Edwin Hernandez, if you don't make contact, you're going to be a worthless player. That's exactly what I'm going to train you on. You're going to work on quality of contact. It's going to be hard for you, I understand that. But if you don't develop at least baseline level skills, we're going to be in trouble. Work on control, please. Bill Gerling desperately needs to work on control. Chris Waters, wait for it. Control. Bill Shiflett, I honestly would like to see him pick up third base, maybe. Is that what I want? Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe just have him work on whatever makes him happiest, I guess. Gap power is pretty smart. John Bruton needs to work on his plate discipline, I think. Oh, I didn't look at my Major League roster. Is there anybody here that I wanted to train up a little bit? Excuse me. Not really. But I think I will remove Bruton, and I think I will have Anar Montes work on... Excuse me. Let's go for broke, right? Work on your power. Excuse me. One moment. Pardon me, that was a lot. That was a lot of stuff. Yes. Okay. I think that works for me. I think this is good. I would like to see Trent Maben develop a little bit this season. Because, yeah. Chris Rainsford not being very good is a big disappointment. This is a guy we drafted literally first overall. He's not trending in the right direction. He had an okay rookie season, and then just did everything worse in his sophomore season. So maybe year 3 will be the charm for him. Maybe he'll be like, oh yeah. We can only hope. Thank God that Jaden Charles is amazing. Because amazing is what he is. Let's check on arbitration. I know we've got some pending free agents. So Kyle Teal's an interesting case. I do want to offer him the 1-year deal. Because A, I don't think he takes it. And if he does take it, I'm happy to have him for another year. That's something that does not cause me a moment of concern. Damn, son. -5 WAR. His weighted runs created above average is 4. He is 96% worse than an equivalent player. He's bad at everything. Wow. Wow. Maybe you should be angry at how terrible you are. I've never seen a WAR that low. That's hilarious to me. In case you're wondering, am I going to set the roster limits the way that I did in the Rockies series? I'm not. This save isn't about managing the minor leagues. This save is about building the kind of team that can be successful. It's a more traditional series, so I shan't be doing that. And if you're like, that's a little bit unfair, it might be. But also, let's not forget the fact that it applies to every AI team, too, so... Alright, these fine feathered friends. Luke Gesky probably is going to want a longer-term contract at some point in the future. I'm not there yet. Let's just give him a 1-year deal for now, and then approach this in the future. That's fine with me. Matt Puas, I want more from him, but I still like what he can offer us right now, and he only wants a small sum of money, relatively speaking. So you know what? Here's your money. Brett Highfield, man, I think we move on from him. I know he keeps the clubhouse light, but he is just not produced. We take a look at the difference between the 2 seasons. Strikeouts were down, walks are up, hits were up. He was just a worse pitcher across the board. Which is a shame, because I do genuinely think he has okay potential. But he's 26 at this point. He is what he is. I don't know that I'm eager to give him another chance. I also don't know that we're going to get very much for him either, being perfectly transparent. Let's find out. Is there anybody who's like, oh my god, Brett Highfield? No, they're not. So the question becomes, do we keep him for 1 more year, or do we just non-tender him? He's a 46 rated reliever. I can do better than that. We will non-tender him. Now, a lot of people ask us coming off the worst year of his career, but he might actually be a starting catcher this year. So I think it is worth keeping him around for at least one more season. Even though his contract is quite a bit higher, I think that's okay. Because I don't have another catcher that immediately springs to mind, especially if Kyle Teal doesn't take the qualifying offer. I think he will. I think, in all honesty, I think he will, but I'm not positive about that. Now, one problem with our team being so young is that everyone is getting for their big contracts at the same time. There's no reason not to keep Bautista and Gibbs for now, but at a certain point, we will have to make a decision. This is an incredibly cheap long-term contract. Like, I know he's got 3 good seasons under his belt. I'm not even going to hesitate. This is absolutely a perfectly acceptable contract for me. Just done. I'm not going to hesitate. I'm not going to think about it. I'm just going to sign it. Your gear wants comparatively more money. However, it's still not that much. My one concern is he's only had 1 year as a top tier player. I'd almost rather let him prove it. I think he needs another year out of just a 1 year deal. And then we can talk a longer term deal here when the season is over. I'm not saying he won't be a long term player for me. I'm saying that I'm a little skeptical. Because currently he's had a good season, a pretty good season, and an excellent season. And I just want to see him build on that. At least come close to replicating his very good 2032, and then we'll come through, and then we'll say, here's your long-term contract. Gibbs is just more proven at this point. Gibbs' worst season is 3 wins, and that's pretty good. He's a fantastic shortstop, and we can push him to second base as he gets older. So I have no problem with Gibbs getting himself a bit of a taste of the good life. You have a trade proposal for me, eh? Chad Bristow sucks. That's just no. I don't know why you would think anyone would want Chad Bristow. Alex Clemeny. Okay, there's a lot to like right here. I think he's a very talented pitcher. Coming off of his best year so far. Still tons of room to grow. There's a lot to like here. Kevin Davis is an elite level prospect that is almost major league ready. This is an incredibly hard no from me. Unless you can take someone besides Kevin Davis. I think that's the difference for me. Kevin Nauer is exactly... This is a good deal for me. Because Kevin Nauer is so limited in his control, he's never going to be a great reliever. So if you want to make this work, this deal I will take. He wants a fair raise. I don't mind giving him that. He thinks he's a starter. I don't agree with that. This works for me. It's a flat upgrade, and he basically replaces Brett Highfield. Oh, yeah. Tyler Victoria, get out of here. Somebody might claim Tyler Victoria, and if they do, they do. That's whatever, but I still think that's... Alright, people signed a deal. Gibbs. The fans do like Bautista quite a bit. That's something we're going to want to consider as we progress through our off season here. Charlie Carter. What if I offered you $125,000? Cold hard cash. No worries. This works. It seems like the guy nobody likes is Aaron Boone, because Aaron Boone doesn't like nice people. He's maybe got like himself a humiliation kink. If that's his thing, you know what? Fair play. Whatever makes you happy. I mean, you've never actually played in Chicago, though, is the thing. Let's go. I don't think we're going to win any major awards. We might do. I just got flagged for something. Oh, it's Victoria clearing waivers, I bet. Yeah. Let's go to the end of award season. See if we win any. Hey, look at that. A manager of the year. A silver slugger for Jorge Bautista. And that was it. Honestly, I accept that. I don't really think there's much chance of us winning any of the other big individual awards. It was really a team effort. We had great performances from several players. No White Sox. Jorge Bautista got a handful of votes, and that was it. That's probably fine. I think the most encouraging thing, by the way, of last season winning the World Series is it was Ito's worst year. Which means, assuming we get a bounce back from Ito, and I don't think that's an unfair assumption, I think this team could be even better. If Kyle Teal doesn't take my qualifying offer, which he didn't, then that is priority number one here in the offseason. We have to get ourselves a catcher. At least somebody interesting, right? Somebody fascinating. Okay. So step one of things we need to concern ourselves with. How many spots do I have on the roster? I have 3. Okay. That's reasonable. I have 2 catches on the 40-man, neither one of whom are amazing. They're both acceptable. I think they're better suited to be backups. I'd like a starting caliber catcher. Who is coming up? Player development screen here. All of our good catching prospects are very deep in the minor leagues. They're nowhere near the majors. So let's start our offseason by trying to find ourselves a catcher. I mean, Gabriel Moreno is not a bad player. Oh, he's an asshole. Never mind. He's a jerk. My problem with Dalton rushing isn't his ability, it's that he's going to cost me too much money. He's going to cost me $11 billion. Yeah, I don't see spending that much money. If Moreno was a little bit nicer and wasn't going to tank my team's cohesion, I might consider it. Domenico Dallavilla. He's got some chops at catcher. He's not a great hitter, but he's also not a terrible hitter. I think he's a decent choice. If I want somebody a bit more polished, I would take Diego Cartaya. But I think I'd rather get the younger guy. I think this is the kind of deal I'm willing to make. You want a 4-year deal, I get it. You're getting a 1-year deal. I'm not willing to commit that much money to a player who's never played in the major leagues before. You want at least a 3-year deal. I think I can live with that. I think 3 years is fine. Now what we need to figure out is we need to figure out where else we can make some upgrades. Who else could be replaced in a beneficial way? Let's sort by overall. I could replace Salvador Lopez. I know he had a decent season. I know he's fine. I'd like more than fine. I'd like a first baseman who can really drive play. Um, Maybe that means Mike Braden plays first base. I don't know. We'll see. Did we just give Mr. Tibbs a new contract? I feel pretty confident that we did. Yeah, we did. We gave him a big new contract. Um, Catcher is the number one area we need improvements in. Followed by that, I'd like a first baseman. And maybe that's Montez. Maybe Montez plays first and someone else plays third. I think Billy Reeg's time has probably come and gone as an everyday starter, so first and third is really the positions I'm really looking to target. I would not object at all to another starting pitcher with the understanding that I'm not going to pay a lot of money for any starting pitcher. Brian Williams, you're 25 years old. You absolutely do not need a pitch count that's that low. Ray Hoisington, you've given me 2 consecutive about 180 innings. I think we can also remove your pitch count and see how you turn out. So let's look at corner infielders. That's the other area of growth we could really target. We could sign Brad Barnes to a contract. That's reasonable. I don't hate that. And Brian Slagle, of course. He's a Slagliest. Mark Olson. I think that's fine. That's the freebies. We'll go after them. Hitters. Look, it's Nick Morabito. I remember that guy. He wants a minor league option for a major league team. Hard pass. Pedro Ibargüen? Maybe? Charlie Gondon is absolutely not happening. Like, that's not even on my radar. Carson Bench is an okay outfielder. I just don't have a spot for him. I think, actually, because Chris Rainsford also plays third, right? He's not terrible at it. He also plays first. I wonder if a veteran outfielder isn't what we're looking for. I wonder if that's not a useful thing to add on. I think I have too many outfielders. I need my outfielders to actually, like, if I'm gonna sign an outfielder, it's gotta be somebody that can contribute right now. It's gotta be somebody who's like a reasonably good hitter. Let's look at outfielders, I guess. Let's look at anybody. Let's look at all of the hitters and let's sort by batting ratings and let's sort by no, good batting ratings because I want BABIP. Charlie Condon, obviously special. That's not happening. That's not something I have the budget for. Moreno doesn't interest me. Merrill I certainly can't afford. Ronald Acuna Jr. could be interesting, I guess, as like a leadoff type. But he hasn't been very good in a long time, and I don't think I want to try to rehabilitate him. I don't think that interests me. Gregory Barrios, $16 million. No thanks. His injury proneness is what sinks him for me. It's Travis Banana. No thanks. Michael Butch is at least worth trying. Like, understanding he's coming off of a pretty bad year, and understanding that he's 35 years old, I think giving him at least a shot in spring training to maybe strengthen my first base contingent isn't a terrible idea. And if it turns out he sucks, I can just cut him. I think that's reasonable. Hey, look, it's O'Neal Cruz. Hey, look, it's Ian. What's the Haps? Because I can't really get involved in any of these really top tier players, part of me doesn't want to spend too much time here. Nope. You're a guy whose major tool is hitting for average, then you're not hitting for average. That's a terrible fit. It's the worst. Wait, Victor Badola. No. This is, again, comically stupid. All you do is hit for average, and if you're not hitting for enough average, then you're not very good. Yeah, he wants basically all of the money, and that's not something I'm prepared to share. I'm not prepared to spend that much money on him, because I don't think he's worth it. Do some Hall of Fame voting. Yay! I wonder if there's anybody exceptional. I just saw Shohei Ohtani's name. I feel like he probably makes the Hall of Fame. I feel like Aaron Judge is a pretty good bet. Bryce Harper. Aroldis Chapman, maybe. We'll come back to him. Giancarlo Stanton. Chris Sale, I think, is a pretty good fit. Obviously, Jose Ramirez. Obviously, Shohei Ohtani. Obviously, Christian Yelich. Obviously, Zach Wheeler. Corey Seager, I don't hate. Andrew McCutchen, I think, is just doomed at this point. Frankie Lindor, 100%, is a Hall of Famer, in my opinion. I'll go for Nelson Cruz. Why not? And then Mookie Betts. This is a pretty loaded class, actually. I think there could be several first ballot guys here, which is pretty cool. I guess if they really want to roll this Chapman in the Hall of Fame, I'm not going to stop him from making it. So I think this is my ballot. Who do I think makes it in for sure? Honestly, Shohei Ohtani and Aaron Judge, Chris Sale. I think those three have a really good chance, and then I think some of the others might make it as well. But I think those are probably your top three bets. Give me my scouts and only my scouting director. I pay him a lot of money to be good at scouting, so let's make that a thing. I know we're not making a ton of moves, but we are, we literally just won the World Series. I think it's reasonable to just want to run it back to a certain extent. Ivan Herrera. I'm listening. I think he could be a pretty solid one-year catcher. If you ate his salary, I would feel a lot better about it. Because his bat hasn't ever been particularly productive in the last couple of years. I just don't feel like it's a good spending of my money. Let's discuss it. I would like you to eat his entire contract. That's my first requirement. If you take this deal, I will give you JoJo Tillman. And I think JoJo Tillman actually has a decent bit of upside to him. But if this is something that interests you, I think it's something I can consider. If you ask for a single player in addition, the answer will be no. It's Gerald Rosado. He's bouncing around a little bit. Good for him, man. Good for him. No, I'd much rather have Jeff Hinshaw. That's not even a debate. We would look like idiots. That's not going to happen. I can't help but notice, by the way, that I never heard back from Cleveland. Oh, it expired. Did you trade him to somebody else? You did. You traded him to the Twins, and what did you get for him? David Flores, that's it? You got one prospect, and you weren't willing to wait for two? You know what, Cleveland? Go fuck yourself. George Kirby is a really good pitcher. That is an awful lot of money. So that's an awful lot of prospects. Kevin Davis, Houston Potter, Luis Perez, Rogelio Herrera, Gabriel Bertrand. I don't think so. I think if you ate more of his contract, I would be willing to make this work. But I don't think 45 is enough. I just. Here's my issue, right? Last year's rotation was pretty good and they're all pretty young. I know that Noah Schultz is maybe in the downswing of his career, potentially, but he's still a pretty productive pitcher. I think that's giving up an awful lot for somebody that doesn't have a guaranteed rotation spot. And I guess I could always bench Hoisington. I guess I could bench Schultz or Williams. I don't think this is smart. I don't think it's a good deal. If this was a hitter of similar caliber, I think I would take the deal, but I think I'd politely decline. Creed Willems sucks. He's not a good player. I agree, Chris Guts would look like idiots, 100%. Josue Briseño. I'm not seeing a reason to pick him over the guy that we have pending, right? Has Kyle Teal signed with anybody yet? Probably not, right? I have a feeling that I would have gotten an email if somebody tried to sign Kyle Teal. Maybe he's realized his market's not as robust for him as he was hoping. $3 years for 13 million is not unreasonable. What was his last contract with me? It's basically what he was already making. I think this is a deal I'm willing to make. If you want to come home to the White Sox and give me a team option, I think this is something I'm prepared to do. Yeah, I don't buy it For a guy that I'd only get for 1 year rental, I don't want to give up Hinshaw for that. I'm not saying that Hinshaw is the latest and greatest and he's the best player ever, but I'm saying that's not something I'm prepared to do. Who do we got? Is Kyle Teal going to sign with me? It's a good question, and I don't know the answer. Oh, right. Do I have any big Rule 5 guys? I think Vantine and McGee are good enough that I think they deserve a chance. Excuse me. Damn. What is John Lightsteel? Why do people not like you? Oh, you're just not very advanced? Okay. That's fine. Hugo Marquez and Leo Torres. What is your deal? You're a terrible catcher is your deal. Okay, hitter, not a very good catcher. What about Leo Torres? Leo Torres is legit. I think Mr. Torres is a fine Rule 5 pick for me. Let's go for that. Oh, Joel Biddle was still available. I would have maybe taken him if I'd seen that. Maybe he'll still be around, but next time I pick, I don't know. Maybe. Nope, somebody took Joel Biddle. Zam. My own fault. Hey, it's Yandel Ricardo. I remember him. You're a proud former Sock. Maybe not proud, but you are a former Sock, whether you like it or not. I think that might be it. That might be the only Rule 5 pick I make, unless there's somebody that's really exciting in some way or another. Oh, but wait, it says Joel Biddle is still here. Then give me Joel Biddle. Oh, is that I'm at the 40-man limit? Yeah, I'm at the 40-man limit. Mike Fontenot, you literally have no purpose for me now. You had one job, which was to be respectable, and you were not. Here we go. Alright, I think that's probably it for me. I don't think there's anybody else here that really moves the needle. So let's just go ahead and finish this Rule 5 draft. Now, the interesting question is there a reason to keep pursuing that one catcher? Because I think Leo Torres has huge upside. I think he's got tremendous upside. I don't think he's a starting catcher, but I think he is reasonable. I mean, the other guys are far more polished. I think Dallavila is probably less interesting to me than bringing back Teal. So I think I'm going to go ahead and withdraw your offer. Pending offers. Arizona's claim to Mike Fontenot. Okay. Well, I wish you well with him then. Some people are excelling, other people are frustrated. That's fine. Alright, so we brought Kyle Teal back home. We got Michael Bush. I think this counts as a pretty solid... I think it counts as a pretty solid offseason. I feel like Brian Abernathy is just doomed. I feel like One of these seasons, I just need to let him cook and see what he can accomplish. Maybe. Anybody want Ralphie Velasquez? No, they don't. Hmm. Unironically, Noah Schultz is not one of the worst players on my team. That's kind of funny to me, actually. I feel like Brian Abernethy is a lottery ticket. He is one season we call him up, we just turn him loose, let him do as much damage as he can, and then we trade him. For a player of his skill level, he hasn't performed in the minors. And I think that's what keeps getting me stuck. Last season was an exception. He's actually okay in AAA. I think we either just trade him or we see if we can sneak him through the waiver process, because I don't think anybody's going to want him. I think people are going to look at the fact he's only rated a 41 overall, and if somebody claims him, they claim him. That's fine. But Kyle Teal is somebody we have to have. He's somebody that is mandatory. Whereas he is not a Fontenot, I'd like to designate you a former Sock. What round did I draft you in? I took you in the 8th round. There you go. One thing I really like is that we have a young catcher. Somebody's still got lots of upside. That Kyle Teal can mentor, so that when we do get rid of Teal in a year or two, he'll still be there. He'll still be available if we want him, which is pretty sweet. This is going to be a fascinating spring training. How much are you asking for? I don't have room for you anymore. I can give you a minor league deal. That's all I can offer you. I can give you a $2 million minor league option. Then I can't do it. I'm sorry, bro. Otani, Betts, Sale, Judge, and Jose Ramirez all made it. Nice. That's one hell of a Hall of Fame class, right? That's pretty good. What is Mike Trout in the Hall of Fame, or is Mike Trout still playing? Okay, he's in the Hall of Fame. Okay, I was hoping so. Okie dokie. Meadroth, get a $60 million career. Fair play to him. I would never pay that much for him. That's not even remotely acceptable to me. Alright, I get the player that I want, is what this tells me here. If I want a player, he is mine. Manny Benavides is fine. He's got a good work ethic, but his ambition is high. That's somewhat concerning to me. Rodolfo De La Rosa, loyalty and good work ethic. Okay outfielder, pretty decent bat. There's a lot to like here. He's a maybe from me. Garrett Stweege. Interesting. His makeup is off the charts. And he's got legit skills, too. His arm is kind of a rag arm, which doesn't make him a great fit in first base or second base, so maybe we could put him at first. I think he's a good enough all-around player. With really good makeup. I think this is what seals the deal for me. He's going to work hard, which means their chance might even be better. I'm going to take Mr. Steege here. I would love to give you $5.7 million to not even talk to other teams. Like, just be like, no, I'm a White Sox for life. And then you're going to be a prospect that's labeled not draft pick because you were not a draft pick. Just a really interesting all season. I know I didn't make many big moves, but I think I made enough moves. You've increased my budget. That's pretty exciting. Who's still left in free agency, I wonder? Are there any intriguing players of one flavor or another? I mean, Ronald Acuna Jr. is still hanging out. I just feel like the only thing he can do now is DH. I don't think he can play the field at all, and that reduces his value to me quite a bit. Mike Bove. Okay, sure. I would absolutely sign Davalila if he would take a minor league deal. But I'm not going to pay 3 catchers this season. That's excessive. That is truly, truly excessive. What do we got going on in the pitching ranks? Any cool pitchers left? Juan Tovar is available for 33 million. Nope. Even Dong Moon On for 18.5 million is too much money. Spencer Schwellenbach is too much money. Yeah, like I feel that under the right circumstances. Oh, how much does Logan Henderson want to come back? He actually did pretty well for us down the stretch. He wants very little money. You know what? Done. Why are you shortlisted? Did you used to play for me? Oh, you're a former Sock? I had forgotten that. Yeah. I cannot justify paying $18 million for a reliever. Especially somebody coming off of a fairly mediocre year. Yeah, I mean, have at it, my friend. But when Juan Tovar exists and is almost as good as you are, yeah, how much money are you actually wanting? No. I refuse. I categorically refuse. Who's got real good stuff? Angel Peralta's pretty okay. You can offer him a minor league deal. He can get some time during spring training. I see no reason why he can't. Hey, it's Angel Chivilli. Another former White Sox. I have no desire to bring him back. Not even a little bit. Yeah, I don't think it's worthwhile. I don't think it's worthwhile me devoting money to a reliever. Guess what? Then congratulations, Logan Henderson. I hope you enjoy your time in Seattle. I'm not getting into a bidding war with, like, a medium-tier relief pitcher. That's just dumb. $43 million for On is insane. Genuinely happy for him, but entirely insane. Brian Williams losing velocity is not a good look for you. Please don't do that. Please cease. Like how we just signed Stooge, he's automatically losing his abilities already. That's exciting. That's amazing. I mean, you did get twice as much money as you got from me, so I don't blame you for taking the money. But I'm just saying, World Series champions here. You probably should have come and talked to me. Spring training, huh? Okay. All right. Like, there's a whole bunch of relievers that I could give some time to. We could use John Guerrero. We could use. Let's get John Crank, Sheedy Evans, Kevin Davis, Jose Altamar. That's all good. That's all fine. Position players. I think Michael Travis is already done. Like, I think he's already lost most of value that he had from me, if he ever had any. You know what I mean? Michael Bush definitely gets an audition, as does Mike Beeve. He's the beeviest. And that works for me. Bench coach, new guy, Mr. Delmonico, give us our opening day lineup. Well, not our opening day lineup, our initial lineup. Um, right. Pitching staff. Let's do it. We're gonna do 6-man rotation as usual in spring training. I agree. Alex Mendez is probably ready for an audition with the major league club. I think that's a very reasonable take. Wilson got quite a bit better. Gerling got better. Waters got better, and Shiflett got better. Oh, that's fine. That is extraordinarily poopy game, and I don't appreciate that you did that to me. He is getting a bit of reputation. He keeps getting fairly minor injuries, which is just rude. And the worst part of it is, I don't think it's like this is not the kind of injury we can soak easily. Um, Not in the slightest. So this concerns me quite a bit, actually. I still think we're a little bit too reliant on the top parts of our rotation to be really exceptional for us to have a good chance at a good season, right? A bunch of people got a little bit better, which is exciting. I feel like Salvador Lopez is just the classic trap for me. Like, what he does is fine. He's a perfectly useful part on a team. But he's also highly limited. And I feel like our offense with Salvador Lopez playing first base, I think we're fine, but we're not great. We don't have the kind of offense that can, easily take over a game without a lot of extra help. With him playing first base for us, is what I'm trying to say. I would kill for a top quality thumper. Just somebody that outright rakes each and every day. That would make me very happy. Jeff Hinch, I'm not even going to bother putting you on the IL. You're going to be back in by opening day, so I'm not going to worry about it. Alex Clemmie missing the entire year is very rude. Have you tried not tearing tendons in your elbow? Have you considered that? What if you were about to tear a tendon and then you're like, oh, wait a minute, I shouldn't do that. That's very stupid of me. What if that happened? Hmm. How close is Jaden Charles to returning? He'll be back in a week. Okay. We didn't play games for a week. We don't play till March 31st. So we're going to leave an opening on the rotation for him. 100%. So 24 pitchers. We want to get down to 12. Let's be about it. All right. Altamar minors, Borg minors, Crank minors, Davis minors, Evans minors, Goldstein minors, McGee McMinors, Torrance minors. We have to keep Puess, obviously. I want Adam Wilson to pitch more for me, not less. So I'm going to keep him on the Major League roster pretty much no matter what happens. Between Vantine and Robinson, I'd rather have Vantine. Although Robinson did actually pitch quite well for me last year. He was perfectly acceptable. I think Robinson can go to the minors. I think Powers can go to the minors. I think John Guerrero can go to the minors. 13 pitchers. I've got to get rid of one more, and it's going to be Alex Mendez. Because I don't need I don't need 6 stars. I need 4. So we're going to go set as 5-man rotation. And we're just going to leave the A spot open. Who's going to be the closer is a great question. I think it's going to be Matt Pless. I think he's the guy that's the most accomplished in the relief corps. Oh, we like Adam Jones that much, huh? I don't know, guys. Maybe. I don't not like him. I think this is a perfectly acceptable... Like, I'm not going to mess with this. I think this is perfectly fine. We can just let things kind of ride and see where we end up. I do want Adam Wilson playing more than in the back end of the bullpen, though. That's, I think, the one thing I would like to see. Josh Vantine, I'm going to make you the emergency starter and the long reliever. And I'm going to go ahead and make Adam Wilson a middle reliever. Because I want him pitching frequently. I want to get lots of work in so he can achieve his full potential. So, yeah. It's an interesting bullpen for sure. It's got so much upside, but it's also, right now, a little shaky. So we're going to have to see if we can put things together in a productive way. Alright, I've got to clear off what is it? 8 position players. Because I got to make room for Jaden Charles, right? 8. 3 catchers is too many catchers. Ralphie Velasquez, you can start the year in the minors. 4 first baseman is excessive. I think Jaden Fielder is probably somebody that we trade. Like, we either trade him or he plays in the majors, and there's not really any wiggle room there. Bush and Beeve can go back to the minors. That's an easy choice. I guess the question is, do I think Jaden Fielder actually has something to offer us? He has played at a very high level in the minor leagues. He's played exceptionally well in the minor leagues. He just never got an extended audition in the majors. And maybe this is the year that's supposed to happen. Maybe that's something we're supposed to do. I don't know. I can't help but notice he is left-handed, which means he'd make a good platoon partner. For Salvador Lopez, sorry, wrong guy. Although he's certainly no slouch against right-handed pitching. Like, this is not an issue that we have to necessarily solve. Mike Braden is a pretty good second baseman, and that's it. I feel like letting him go back to the minor leagues is fine. Danny Claiborne is really, really good defensively, but I can't carry him and Reed, in my opinion. I think having both of them is silly. So I think then it comes down to the fact that Claiborne's not as good at hitting, so he goes back to the minors. All right, outfield. The new guy, Joel Biddle, is really good against right-handed pitching. Kozic is a switch hitter. Ransford is a right-handed. Tibbs, Bautista. This is so tough. There's so many players that need opportunities, and I've only got so many spots. I feel like getting too attached to Jeff Hinshaw is a bit of a mistake. I think maybe letting him go back to AAA is fine. I think that's probably okay. So Bautista is in. Tibbs is in. And I want Maben to get a big role on this offense this year. He is right-handed, which means he'd effectively replace Gabe Dingman. And I think that's okay. I think if that's what happens, that's okay. Two outfielders have to go. That's what I keep coming back to. I think Chris Ransford has to go to AAA. I know he's 24 years old, but he doesn't have a ton of experience at the high minors, and he had a really rough year last year. I think letting him start the season in the minor leagues where he can develop is probably what's best for him as a player. I think that's a true statement. I think that's what's best for him is what's best for the team. One more player has to go. It's got to be an outfielder. Okay. I don't have the left-handed part of the platoon. Kozic can play left, right? He can play right, correct? Yes, he can. He's pretty against right-handed pitching, so okay. So Kozic is going to play right field. He's going to platoon with Maben and Dingman. Does Maben have a ton of experience in the minor leagues? He's got enough. And Dingman had a good year for us last year. I'd like to at least give him the chance to keep his job because he was so useful. I cannot carry 6 outfielders. Not if I'm carrying 2 first basemen. So this comes down to the question of would I rather have Gabe Dingman or Jaden Fielder? And as good as Gabe Dingman is, I think the answer to that question is Jaden Fielder. I think that's the right choice. I'm going to sit and think about it here for a couple seconds and make sure that I think that I am making the right decision here. Because Dingman has loads of potential. He's still very, very new. He had a good season. I'd almost rather send down Maben. If I'd pick between Maben and Dingman, just because Dingman is already produced and Maben has not. Yeah, I think it's Maben. Gross. I just think there's too much value in having somebody to platoon with Lopez or even play DH outright. I think there's lots of value in that. And I think he's already 28. I need to give him like 250 at bats or so and just let him cook. And if he can't play, then we know. We know at that point. And we can move on from him, secure the knowledge that we made the right choice. So Trent Maben, you start the season in the minor leagues. I don't think you'll be there for very long, but it is something that you're going to be doing. All right. I will set the rotation. I will set the roster here momentarily. I want to make sure we get Jaden Charles back so I can set the rotation, and then I'll set up the lineup. I need some of these players to turn potential into practice. That's what I would like to see happen. We have a top 5 farm system, thanks mostly to Chris Waters, who is admittedly pretty great. I think he's got, I think, the world of him. Yeah. Ookie dookie smooky. Give me till next week, please. Let me simulate until March the 30th, please. Guys, I don't see Jaden Charles being ready to come back. He says he's uncertain. Well, shit. Ted Robinson, maybe, actually. Maybe this is Ted Robinson's chance to start in the major leagues. I mean, he's no worse than anyone else I could put out there, I don't think. Yeah, we'll try it. We'll try it. He does throw super hard, which is kind of exciting. He's a fan favorite. People love him. You'll see it's an opportunity. Who doesn't love a righty who throws a screwball? Seriously, amazing. So we're going to give him a shot. Now let's set up the lineups. Let's do this part now. All right. I mean this with all the love in the world. Jorge Bautista is not leading off for this club. He's not good enough at getting on base. I get the speed is super attractive. Understood. But if you can't get on base regularly, you're a terrible choice to be the leadoff hitter. Ito hits second. I don't think there's any concern about that. I think Ito very easily slots in and plays second. Salvador Lopez is legitimately a genius against left-handed pitching. I think he's going to play left-handed pitching here. Mr. Tibbs is always going to clean up. That'll never change. Bautista is a really good hitter. I don't want to punish him by putting him too low in the lineup, so I think letting him bat third is fine. In this case, I think Joel Biddle. Oh, Mr. Tibbs, are you a great outfielder? Mr. Biddle is not. I think Joel Biddle is going to be our DH here. Arnar Montes, I'm going to let him lead off. We're going to try this as an experiment, right? This is going to be an experiment that we're going to try out. He's got the skill set to be good at leading off. He just has to translate that into actual major league capabilities. So we will let him lead off to start the season and see where that gets us. Bautista bats 5th against right-handed pitching, I think is fine. He's number 0. Who doesn't love that, right? It's like he's terrible against left-handed pitching. He's a little bit better against right-handed pitching. All right, so this is the top 5. Jaden Fielder's going to play first base here. Then we've got our right fielders. It's going to be Dingman is going to hit 6th against lefties, and Garrett Kozic is going to hit 7th against righties. You know, I trust Kozic more than I trust Fielder. Let me just do a swap. Kyle Teal is going to hit 8th and 7th respectively. Josh Gibbs is going to hit 9th. And then I do need to appoint a designated hitter against these guys. Curious. I think letting Billy Reeg play third base against righties is fine. And then Montez can get a little bit of a break and he can DH. Yeah. I do want Torres playing once every 5 games. I want him to get major league experience. That's pretty important for this team in the future. Definitely want him getting plenty of experience at the major league level. and every 5 games here too. Plus, it keeps Teal healthy. I think it just works best for everybody if we try this out here. Yeah. We don't have as much depth as I would like, because we're platooning so heavily. But if you take a look at our starting lineup, the only players who play every day are Montez, Ito, Bautista, and Tibbs and Gibbs. Tibbs and Gibbs and Teal. So we have 4 platoons in this lineup right now. Which is pretty crazy. It's pretty nuts that we have that many platoons. And maybe it works out for us and maybe it doesn't. But the key to this first part of the season is going to be evaluating the players we've already got. It's most expressly going to be, can Bautista carry the big load that he did last season? Is this the real Yorgir Bautista, or is this the real Yorgir Bautista? Or is this the real Yorgir Bautista? I don't know the answer to that question. So far, he's had 1 outstanding season, and he's had some that have been mid. And I need him to build on that outstanding season, steal lots of bases, play really good defense, hit lots of baseballs, and hope for the best. We're still very heavy on projection. Only 2 starters are over 30. One of them exactly 30, and Mr. Tibbs. I think James Tibbs is what he is at this point. He's going to hit for power. He's going to draw enough walks to keep people honest. And he's going to have an okay batting average. I still think he's got at least 1 to 2 more good seasons in him. And we will find him if those seasons are there. And I don't want to make it sound like he was a terrible player last year. He wasn't. He was one of the better players in the league. He just wasn't as good as he had been the previous few seasons. So Tibbs, a lot's riding on his shoulders. Bautista and Lopez. I look for Ito to bounce back. He's way too young to have lost almost half a WAR to trend in this direction. I know he won't win batting titles every year, and I know that he's not playing poorly, but I really love for him to take it up a notch again, to ratchet it back up, to be the leader of this offense, and then have everything else flow through it. I want Montez to show me something this season. There's a lot invested in him. I want him to start paying that off. I didn't see an amazing season. He did skip AAA. And despite the fact he skipped AAA, he kind of did okay in the major leagues. I just need more. I need him to be an impact hitter. And yeah. There's a ton of people sitting in the high minors. There's a ton of people waiting for an opportunity. So again, we're going to play with a semi-short leash. Biddle could be really good. Like, I'm really excited by Biddle. I know he can't handle the other side of the platoon, but I think he's pretty solid. Having Josh Gibbs at a pretty nice amount of money is pretty exciting to me. I like having that stability. Thinking about the season, who's going to be up as a free agent? We need to commit to Gasky. This is a big season for him. It's a big season for us. We need to commit to Gasky, decide, okay, does he come back? And if he comes back, how big a contract does he get? Abernathy is just who he is right now. Like, he's not going to come back, I don't think. But we'll see. The thing is, this bullpen, this payroll is about to get wildly out of control. And eventually we're going to be told we can't have that big a payroll anymore. And so that causes me some consternation. We're going to have to make some difficult choices sooner rather than later. One of them is, by the way, Ralphie Velasquez, you're a backup catcher. It's not even in the major leagues anymore. I'm not paying you $6 million. That's stupid. That is a foolish thing for somebody to do. Not going to happen. I think Gasky probably gets the last really big contract from us in the short term, but I don't want to commit to him too hard. Um, First of all, let's not lose sight of the fact this is an 18th round draft pick. 18th fucking round draft pick. And he has been a very solid starter, but he's also had a very bad year too. So it's hard to put too much faith in him until he puts that faith back in us. I think Noah Schultz would be an absolute idiot if he opted out of this contract. I don't think anyone's going to pay him this much on the open market. I could very well be wrong. But I think he's going to opt out. So we'll have to see how it goes from there. We also desperately need Jaden Charles to be ready to go. The sooner the better. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the rotation we've got now, but I desperately need Jaden Charles to anchor it. So, the theme of the season has the potential into overall. We have to start seeing players take that step forward to show us that they are worthy of an extended stay with the White Sox. My friends, this has been Guardian. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please like the video if you enjoyed what I had to show you. Subscribe if you haven't already. It helps out the channel. Until next time, I bid you good day.